Well, hello and good evening. Welcome, everybody, as we are back here at Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas, in Calgard Gymnasium. Starting five have been announced for the Johnson and Wales University Wildcats. They come in with a record of 2-10, a two-game losing streak after winning two games at the beginning and the end of 2019 and 20. And they will take on the Trinity University Tigers, coming off an impressive win against Austin College up in Sherman. 21-point victory over the then 18th-ranked Kangaroos, handing them their first loss. Tigers come in 11-2. Normal starting five for the Tigers. It's going to look like Jordan Rudd, Julia Ackerman, Emily Daniel, Abby Holland, and Kelly Simmons. For the Wildcats, Kalia Cork, Selma Oros, Brianna Bailey, Vivian Gomez, and Abby Perret. And we are just about ready for tip-off here. Tigers and the Wildcats. I'm joined alongside with Ryan. And Ryan, your thoughts as you are making your way into the 2019-2020 basketball season here midway through January.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, missing out through the winter break, but we come into halfway point of the season almost, and the Tigers sporting a spectacular 10-2 record. One of those losses, of course, coming to St. Thomas, a very highly ranked team in the country, and the other one against UTD. But so far, perfect in conference. They're going to look to stay that way tonight against Johnson and Wales.
And we are just about ready to go. Now we are underway. Simmons wins the tip, back to Rudd. And mention the disparity on the records. We'll see what it looks like actually on the court. On paper, it's a huge advantage to Trinity. We'll see if that matches up. First shot of the day is going to be by Emily Daniel. She puts up a three. It's no good. Rebounded by Abby Perret. And we'll see what Johnson and Wales brings forth.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been led in scoring last season by Katie Guzman and Brianna Bailey this season as well. Now in their sophomore campaign as Johnson and Wales get on the board first.
That was Bailey knocking down an easy layup inside. Tigers find themselves trailing here at home.
Bailey averaging 15 a game. It's her team off to a good start, but Daniel's able to reply with a corner three.
Yeah, and Emily Daniel has looked very good, especially here at home, knocking down three-pointers.
She's in the top 5 of Trinity three-point percentage all time, looking into it earlier today.
And no surprise if you follow the Tigers. Emily Daniel, probably one of the top 2 important offensive pieces here for the Trinity Tigers. And, of course, that's very hard to say with any definitive nature because they have so many players who can score offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And against Johnson and Wales, frequently it's been the bigs that have gotten it done. Last season it was Haley Coleman who led scoring for Trinity against the Wildcats in both games, 14 on 7 of 9 shooting, and then 16 on 8 of 10 shooting, 7 rebounds in each of those games as well. Both Trinity wins. And it's just because Johnson and Wales really can't compete on the size front. Nobody listed over 5'7", as Daniels called for a block. Tigers sporting a couple of players up near the 6-foot mark.
And for Trinity, we mentioned coming off that big win against Austin College, just with the exception of their travel partner game against Schreiner, and those 2 games will come at the end of the year. This is going to wrap up of the first half of the SEAC season. And they are in control of the conference at this point. And after beating Austin College, it's 1-game lead, but with that tiebreaker, essentially a 2-game lead over everybody else in the conference. So a huge weekend here for the Tigers if they can close out the first half with some authority, and then they feel like they can roll into next week. They're back at home again, but they've got Texas Lutheran and Southwestern, 2 teams that are trying to compete to try to get a bye game, either taking it away from Austin or Trinity.
And, of course, TLU, as Abby Holland knocks down a 3 to get herself on the score sheet. TLU, one of the teams that last season was a big shock. They're able to win the conference on the women's side and take away the automatic bid from this Trinity team who's come back with a vengeance in the 2019-20 campaign, now up 8-2.
Yeah, Julia Ackerman just taking it away on defense. Emily Daniel almost doing the exact same thing. Tigers with the full court press. It's just going to be hard for Johnson and Wales if they can't figure out the press, because this is what Trinity does, and they will do it pretty much the entire game if you don't find a way to beat it.
And Johnson and Wales starting 4 guards as listed on our sheet in front of us, but the ball handling so far hasn't been up to scratch trying to break that press.
Jordan Rudd from outside. She misses. Rebound's going to go for Oros.
Speaking of all-time stat leaders, and with the Tigers pressing as they are, you expect Abby Holland to maybe add to her career steals total. She's number 2 all-time for this Trinity program in steals. Here she is on the block.
Long 3, rebounded. It's going to go Johnson and Wales' way. It was Simmons with a 3, and then fighting for it was...
I think it was Perret on the ground.
Right, and then I think the foul is going to be called on Trinity. Yeah, foul on Simmons.
Tigers on an 8-0 run after going down 2-0 to start the game. Really turned it up defensively, and so far I don't think Johnson Wales has created a good look since, as there's going to be another turnover here. Eventually Simmons comes down with it.
Jordan Rudd able to break it up in the middle. And Simmons forcing a shot. Bailey will take the rebound. She's got the 2 points for the Wildcats.
She was trapped there, just had to heave it forward, and it's turned over once again. They just can't get out of their own half at the moment, the Wildcats. Now Ackerman drops it off to Abby Holland in the corner. Holland, one of those on All-American watch this season. She's only continued to improve. Here she is with the turnaround shot. It's good. Setting all kinds of records last year, especially the single game point record for Trinity and the single game point record in the SCAC tournament. Had some big performances down the stretch and what was ultimately a frustrating end to the season for Coach Hill's side. But she's back, and I think better than ever in this senior season for her, trying to propel this team one step forward.
So side inbound play for Holland and the Tigers. Another possession for Trinity as we are approaching midway point of the first quarter. Inside, Simmons all alone. Nice look from Holland. Simmons onto the board.
And that's the danger you get with, that time, triple teaming Abby Holland. She's got the vision to be able to pick out a teammate, and she did so there with aplomb. Another turnover as the steals continue to be racked up by Trinity, and the turning into points as well. Now a 14-0 run in the last almost 4 minutes. We're going to have to get it forward here quickly. Johnson and Wales heave it forward towards the half court. Eventually they do advance it. Cork. Pressure here applied by Holland. Paul able to sneak out of it. Will Johnson Wales be able to create a decent look here for the first time in a couple of minutes from inside the area, and it's going to roll home. Bailey there, now 2 for 2 in the game. And that ends the scoreless streak for the Wildcats.
14-0 run for Trinity. And Simmons will try to make a new one, but a little bit long on the step-back 3.
Yeah, I know she worked really hard to add that to her game, and she's started to take more threes this year. They haven't necessarily been falling for her. That is another dimension that if she can start getting 3 balls to drop, this offense will be even more dynamic as we head into the break. Trinity up 14-4, 4 minutes and change remaining in the first quarter.
And 14-4, 4:34 left here in the first quarter. Johnson and Wales shooting the ball particularly well, just 2 of 3. They just haven't taken a whole lot of shots, mostly due to the fact that they've had the ball stolen away 6 times. They are out rebounding Trinity, though, 5-0. It just means Trinity hasn't really gotten to the offensive board yet.
Yeah, a whole new 5 coming out of the timeout for Coach Hill. And Gilliott, Wilson, Henry, Wise, and Milton on the floor for the home team. Nice swinging around the arc here.
And not surprising from Coach Hill. We typically see this pretty much any game. And Milton will knock down the 3. So she's back into the game and feeling the flow early on.
Yeah, and how important has she been? The 6th player off the bench for Coach Hill this year. Doesn't have a start to her name yet, but averaging 8.8 points, 2.9 boards, and an assist and a half per game. Showed what she could do here early on with the 3.
Nice job by Sam Henry. Picked up the steal and then took it all the way in, drawing the foul, so she'll go to the line to shoot 2. It's Cork, Bailey, Baker, Gomez, and Paul for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and shooting from the stripe, an area where Trinity can improve as we head into the second half of the season. Just shooting 64% as a team so far. As Henry goes 1 for 2 there. Gonna have to advance the ball quickly, and they have an open player. It's gonna be yet another turnover for the Wildcats, who continue to be frustrated with the ball in their hands.
Yeah, it's really difficult to do much against Trinity's defense, but if you can't beat the press, then your night's just going to be more and more frustrating, as Melton has come into this game and in 1 minute outscored Johnson Wales. She's now got 6.
And the 3-point shooting's been good so far for Trinity in this first half.
Ill-advised pass from Wilson taken away, and now an opportunity here for the Wildcats. Good job from Gomez. She'll draw the foul. She'll go to the line to shoot 2 and maybe stop this 7-0 run.
And not a bad foul either from Wise. It's going to be a pretty simple lay-in for 2 points. Now she's going to have to earn them at the line.
And comes up short on the first one as it bounces around a few times. If Wilson's foul, well, it's about half and half there, so made 1 for 2. So no advantage for either side. Milton inside from about 15 feet, can't get it to fall. Maybe she was too close. Henry at the top of the key. Wilson will try the 3. Front of the rim, no good. Milton picks up the board, and she's 3 seconds in the lane. She's got to do something with it as soon as she gets it there. And couldn't find anybody open, and then couldn't really move with the ball.
I don't think she expected to come down with the rebound, just kind of landed to her and then had to think about where she wanted to go. She gets the steal here, though.
Might have gotten a little bit of contact. Can't hit the shot. Now she'll step back outside. She's just too close. It's 3 of 5 on the day, but 0 of 2 from inside the arc. Perfect from outside. She's got 9.
Leading all scorers now with those 3 deep balls going in.
Just over 2 minutes left here in the first quarter.
Nifty Euro step there as Bailey gets it to go.
And Bailey's got 6 points now. 3 of 3 shooting.
Absolutely led the team, was second in the team last year behind Guzman, 15 points a game, and has continued that trend with 15 points this year, now in her sophomore season. But the really striking thing is that both Guzman and Bailey playing about 38 minutes per game, no rest for them.
Gilliott misses from the set piece.
Three-person trap there for Trinity, and Eventually it does result in a turnover. Steal that time from Wise.
That one handles lost and out off of the Wildcats. So minute 26. And Tigers will bring in Coleman.
Yeah, surprised it's taken that long. I mentioned earlier that she's been a particular menace for Johnson and Wales, leading scoring for the Tigers in both of their wins against the Wildcats last year.
Elliott drives the baseline, now kicks it back out top. Wilson, Coleman wide open underneath, got two. Yeah, and it was
Just like
interesting
that.
to see how everything would shuffle and everything else. I know that the team has been hit with a little bit of the flu bug lately, so Coach Cam might have to be looking at some players, watching minutes, seeing how they've maybe been the last few days and things like that. So could be some of that going on with the lineups that we see throughout the rest of this contest.
And of course the game tomorrow, 6 o'clock tip-off against the Colorado College Tigers as Coleman, 2 for 2.
Coleman, the Kansas City native, where on Sunday the town will be rocking.
That time she's responsible for the foul that's going to send Bailey to the line. Nearly got the N1 opportunity, but it just rims out. So with under 30 seconds in the quarter, it's going to be Bailey from the stripe.
And off the mark from the free throw line. 6 of the 7 points for the Wildcats so far. And comes up empty on both, but the offensive board here for Pare and lost the handles. Inside Coleman once again, fighting her way in, but they're going to call a travel first.
Why not? Keep going to her. She certainly got the size to be able to dominate down low in this one.
Looking for the last shot here, and I don't know if they realize it.
It's going to have to be from some range.
And a 3-touchdown lead for the Tigers as we go to the second quarter. It'll be 28-7 when we return here on the Tiger Network. And welcome back. Start of the second quarter. And it's going to be Wildcat ball. Wildcats coming off a 78-30 loss at home to their travel partner, Colorado College. We'll see Colorado tomorrow as they come in. They're currently playing over in Kerrville over at Shriner. The game just underway.
Holland there adds to her career steals total and then throws it away almost immediately. Batted out of bounds by Daniel.
.19 on the shot clock. And Gomez looks to get back to the top of the key.
The frustrating thing sometimes for Johnson and Wales is they're actually getting players open. Obviously, with Trinity pressing the way they are, there's going to be an open player on the court somewhere. It's just so far been the inability to spot that open player. A couple of times when the Tigers are pressing high, there was somebody standing essentially under the basket unguarded. The pass never came. And then the other frustration, of course, these misses from the free throw line.
This court goes to the line, missing the first. Another 0 for 2 situation for the Wildcats.
1 for 6 as a team.
Starting 5 back out there for the Tigers. It's Cork, Oros, Bailey, Gomez, and Pare starting 5 for the Wildcats. Over to Daniel, corner 3, up and over the backboard, and be out of bounds off the Tigers.
She's got a beautiful catch and shoot motion, and more often than not, she knocks it down when she's open like that. Just been terrific to watch so far. 3 seasons as a part of this Tiger program.
And a nice job there from the Wildcats. Breaking through the press, but then Jordan Rudd coming on the backside defense, taking it away.
Great kick there for the open 3. And Ackerman will oblige now. 5 points for her in 7 minutes.
And Julia Ackerman, well versed at shooting the 3-pointer. We talked about Emily Daniel, Abby Holland, but Julia Ackerman probably with one of the most technically sound shots that you've seen out on the court. And she'll pull from just about anywhere when she's open. Shot clock at 2. Up off the back of the board, and that's just going to be a shot clock violation, as that did not hit the rim on the first shot.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit like a lack of cohesion, a lack of a firm idea of what's going on the offensive side of the court. They have to realize that the clock's winding down and try to get a better look than that.
Yeah, and their offensive sets are going to take a lot longer than what they realize, because they've spent almost all their time beating the press. So when they take 12 to 15 seconds to beat the press, then offensively their set has to go a lot quicker.
Here's what I'm talking about, though, with the open players underneath. Couldn't convert that time, but it was a good job of at least getting it into a dangerous area. Another 3 just kind of heaved up, and another offensive rebound. You have to give them credit for one thing. It's been their rebounding so far.
Nice little shovel over to Ackerman, and then Ackerman gets it all the way down the court for Holland. Can't get fall. Gets over to Simmons, though, so she'll take the assist.
And it could have been a foul there as well. Contact on the elbow as she went up. Simmons finally gets on the score sheet.
So now you're into your offensive set, and there's 13 on the shot clock. So if you're Johnson and Wells, you've just got to start to figure out what play you're going to run and start trying to run through that, because you don't have a whole lot of opportunity to sit back and then go into something.
Absolutely, or just shorten the ideas that you're trying to execute. Maybe just a quick screen and a decent look is going to be better than waiting until the shot clock runs down and throwing up a 3. Now 4 seconds on the clock as they look to inbound this one.
Yeah, that's going to be another shot clock violation, as they just had no idea what was on the shot clock.
And you heard the head coach, Bob Kinsel, yelling 3, 2, 1. I think he was the only one from a Johnson & Wales perspective that realized as much. So much to keep track of when you're out there on the court. It's got to be one of the most pertinent things, though, as Daniel gets another open look. Rims out.
Emily Daniel, just 1 of 5 shooting in this contest, though. It's such an important player offensively for the Tigers. They just won't happen to probably need her here today. It was a better job offensively getting a good shot up and then just not getting back. Nice job by Simmons running the floor.
Yeah, and how about that pass that time from Ackerman?
Great look from Ackerman.
Just over the outstretched arms of the defender. It was almost like a quarterback dropping it in.
Yeah, and Ackerman's done that her entire career here. We're going to get a 10-second call. But Ackerman really has the arm strength to be that quarterback from anywhere on the court, and that was probably a good 50 to 60 foot pass right there.
Yeah, and with the score at 35-7, might as well be calling Trinity football game.
Nice drive on the inside from Jordan Rudd. She'll take 2. And she's on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. 1 for 2 on the day.
Name that's been really quiet for Johnson and Wales. Gomez, she was pretty much the sole catalyst for the win against Centenary on December 30th. She went for 32, 7 for 11 from 3. We haven't seen her pull once from behind the arc. Let's see if we maybe see some adjustments from a Johnson Wales perspective. Coming out of the timeout, the Tigers lead 37-7. Under 5 minutes, we'll have the media timeout. You're watching the Tiger Network.
And welcome back. 37-7 Tigers. 4:59 left here in the first half. New 5 out there for the Tigers. Milton, Wilson, Gilliott, Henry, and Wise will be on the floor. It'll be an inbound play for the Wildcats. Just 11 on the shot clock. Kick it far corner. That was blocked by Sam Henry.
I think shortest player on the Tiger roster there coming up with the block. It's not about your height, it's about what you make of it.
I think even when Johnson Wales is getting the shots that they want, that was a great inbound play there. Looking for the slotted receiver, and they find her wide open in the middle of the paint. Knocks it down, then quickly on the other side, Annie Wise runs the floor well and draws contact going up for the layup. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. Foul is on Baker, her first.
Yeah, as Johnson Wales approaches double digits, you think back to the game last year. That was here at Calgar Gymnasium. Trinity winning 81-30. Johnson Wales was held to just 9 points in the entire second half. Looks like they're going to at least eclipse that here the first 2 quarters. At least they've got about 5 minutes to do so. It's a team that is certainly in transition and struggling a little bit, I think, on the recruiting front as well. Moving into Division III play for the first time last season.
Second year in the SCAC.
1-15 last year. Their win coming against University of Dallas, who they've also defeated this season, as well as Centenary. They have more conference wins already at 2-5 than they did in their debut campaign in the SCAC.
That one drawing iron, but the rebound will fall to Milton. Well, Henry, that might have been a travel. She gets away with it. Wilson will kick for 3 and knocks it down from the top of the key. For Wilson, her first made bucket. She's 1 for 2 now from downtown. And another 10-second violation. They cannot beat the press.
And the Tigers shooting 47% from behind the arc. A lot of that due to getting open looks, but frustratingly is shooting 25% from the free throw line. How about that?
And Tigers 14 steals, but Johnson Wells committed 21 turnovers so far, and it's 21 turnovers to 5. Wilson will try again. Too hard, caught between the iron and the glass, and it kicks out, and the rebound will fall to Johnson Wells, and immediately they are fouled by Milton. So it'll be Milton's first.
Yeah, Milton, the big reason why that three-point percentage is so high, came in the first quarter, knocked down 3 of 3.
Yeah, she missed 2 shots in the first quarter. Both of them were from about 5 feet away. Knocked down the long-range shot.
Another offensive board there for Johnson and Wales. It's going to be jump ball here. And it'll turn over to the Tigers. It's not necessarily how we thought the game would play out in terms of where the scoring is coming from. Certainly the scoreboard is along the expected line, but over the first 2 meetings between these two teams, it was players scoring in the paint, Coleman and Simmons, that led it for the Tigers this year, though it seems to be more about the three-point attempts. So Wilson there misses that one. She's now 1 for 4 for 3.
3:03 left here in this first half.
They do find the open player here, and they've got somebody on the backside. Just going to slow it down, though.
Oros will have it taken away by Wise.
Really good hustle play there from Annie Wise. Even though the score is already lopsided, she's getting there, getting on the ground, winning the ball back. And eventually it's going to lead to 3 more points for Milton.
4 for 4 from downtown. Now 12 points for Milton. Her first game here as a Tiger was a memorable one. She was able to win SCAC Player of the Week.
Yeah, big win against George Fox, 74-55 against the number 18 in the preseason poll. Of course, dropped the close one to St. Thomas, who were number 9. I think one that they would like to have back. As I watched on from my bedroom at home, you called that one. They just let it slip late, didn't they?
Yeah, and the same thing happened a few weeks later as they played UTD. Had another game that they had pretty much locked up. Should be an undefeated team right now. But just let those 2 slip away at home, and 2 that I think in the long-term look of the season, losing those 2 games might give this team a little bit more perspective on playing a full 40 minutes. And that could become huge as we get closer into SCAC tournament time, and then hopefully for Trinity into maybe NCAA postseason time if we can earn a berth.
Absolutely, but at the same time, those 2 losses could play an important role if the Tigers once again aren't able to win the conference. Of course, last season they maybe controversially didn't get an at-large bid, and if that situation were to arise again, they think maybe another big win against St. Thomas would push us over the line. Of course, they have the aspiration, though, to win the conference.
Yeah, and we've got Austin College on the second half here at home, so that would be a good win as well. Austin College currently ranked. Got 2 teams in the SCAC ranked right now, which is fantastic for Dwayne Hamburger and crew. And Gilead goes from saving goals to knocking down 3-point field goals, all in the matter of a couple of months. Helping out when the injury bug hit the Tiger soccer team, and the basketball player here for the Tigers getting an opportunity to excel at what she feels that she does a lot better.
And didn't get much of a chance to prove herself on the soccer side of things. She did get minutes, certainly coming in late in games as a reserve goalkeeper. I don't know if she faced a shot all year with how dominant the Tiger ladies were in conference play.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you've got an All-American on your back line helping you out.
I think they might have one here as well in Abby Holland.
And a couple of future ones here as well, as this is a pretty young team with some very good talent. As Milton's going to miss her first 3. And then rebound or a foul on Wilson as she goes for the rebound. Early action around the conference. Shriner 11-10 over Colorado College. There's a minute left in the first quarter there. Southwestern 10-7 over Austin College. 4 minutes left in the first quarter up in Georgetown.
Wildcats at the time beat the press just in time, and they're going to head to the line as Haley Coleman called for a blocking foul. Under 30 seconds left in this first half. Chance here to break into double digits. I said it, I think, almost 4 minutes ago now. Just need to go 1 for 2. Gonna have to come on the second one here for Brianna Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey now 0 for 3 from the line.
They're going to stick on 9 here as the Tigers may well hold this for the last shot. The shot clock is turned off. Bailey, a 61% shooter from the free throw line on the year. Not showing that so far tonight. 5 seconds and counting here as Henry drives, kicks. Ball comes back in for Coleman, and the Tigers won't get it off, but it won't matter. They lead 46-9 as we head into the halftime break. Johnson Wales unable to break into double digits here through 2 quarters. You can see why 0 for 8 from 3 and really just not getting many shots off. 20 less than their opponents, Trinity, who lead 46-9. You're watching the Tiger Network.
And welcome back. 46-9, your score at the half. The leading scorers for the Tigers going to be. Looks like they changed it officially on the stat sheet. So Milton's now got 9. She had 12, and I'm pretty sure she actually did knock down all 4 of the threes that they've went back and changed. So 9 or 12 for Milton, and then Wilson and Simmons with 6, 7 for Holland, and 5 for Ackerman. And then a handful of other players scattered with less than 5.
Yeah, a little bit of a confusing one there. Definitely witnessed Milton knock down 4 threes with my own eyes.
And early on, knocking down the first shot of the second half, just like she did in the first, is going to be Bailey. She's up to 11, or excuse me, 8 of the 11. And she is 4 of 7 from the field.
Yeah, starting well, both halves, getting the opening bucket for the Wildcats. It's just where it goes from there. Of course, a long, long road back.
Simmons cutting to the inside block. Turn around. Can't get the shot to fall. Rebound's going to fall to Cork.
Good defense there from Perret.
Johnson Wells now finally getting a chance to actually work within the system of their offense. Didn't have to contend with a press, but picks up the ball and can't get it across, and then a jump ball is going to give it back to Trinity.
There's a little bit of a weird one there from Cork. She didn't seem all that intent on fighting for possession. Just held it there as Holland laid a hand on the ball and got the jump ball in possession for her team. Here she is at the top of the arc.
Yeah, I think the only thing she really could have done is call timeout. So Ackerman will pull for 3, knocks it down, assist for Holland.
Holland now leading Trinity with 4 assists. 7 points as well to go with it on 3 for 4 shooting. Blocked that time from Daniel. Ackerman brings it up on the far side of the court underneath to Abby Holland. Up for 2, and the Tigers break the 50-point mark, 51-11 now.
Defense from Holland will ultimately force turnover, and then she's up ahead of the play to get the bucket.
Into double digits now with 11, matching the Wildcats' total so far. She thought Milton had 12, which would still put her out in front of the visiting team, but at the moment only credited with 9. This time Oros is able to get the timeout as she was tangled up on the ground, and possession will stay with the visitors from Denver. After a short break, we'll be right back with you on the Tiger Network, where Trinity leads 53-11. .7:21 remaining here in the third quarter. As Johnson Wales out of the timeout, going to look to inbound this one from underneath the basket. Swatted by Simmons. Recovered momentarily by Oros, but the Tigers go the other way. And Ackerman lays it up for an easy 2 points in transition. That one not how they drew it up out of the timeout.
Bailey going all the way, and then at the very end meets Simmons, who partially deflects and blocks the shot. And Daniel goes in for the bucket and a chance for a three-point play.
Yeah, it was almost a scary one, wasn't it, for Tiger fans? You really don't want to see somebody go down injured in a game like this. It's an awkward fall, but looks like she's okay. Going to take the free throw, where both teams have been strikingly poor from the free throw line. Combined 2 for 12 between the two sides so far. And make it 2 for 13.
That one's going to be off of Rudd, so it'll be Johnson and Well ball.
Yeah, muted protest there from Trinity. I thought they should have had it. Not worth arguing too much over, though. The 46-point lead.
Yeah, so now 2 of 13 free throws. That's, I think, just something that, from Trinity's standpoint, shooting 1 of 5, they're really going to need to start to focus on.
Yeah, especially, it's just needless, isn't it, really? You get into tighter games, and maybe Colorado College will provide that tomorrow at the 6 o'clock tip-off. There's a couple of free throws here and there that come off the rim. Look a lot bigger at the end of the game, especially in the UTD games, as we get the alley-oop and score for Holland, the UTD and St. Thomas games where you lose by 3 or 4 points. That's the first place you're going to look back and wish you could change.
As Bailey loses her footing, and the ball will go out of bounds to the Tigers. And speaking of Colorado College, they were up 35-26. That game just going to the half over in Shriner. And just about to the half, 45 seconds left. Austin College with a 3-point lead, 32-29 on the Pirates of Southwestern over in Georgetown.
Yeah, surprised not to see Simmons kick that one. Ackerman equally perplexed. She was on an island over there behind the arc.
Poked away by Rudd over to Simmons. They got Holland up ahead again.
Yeah, beckoning for the contact there. One to the and one. But it was an easy 2 points once again for the senior forward from Georgetown, Texas.
And we did get confirmation from the stats crew. They changed one of Milton's three-pointers earlier in the first quarter over to Wilson. And so apparently just going 2 of 2 in the first quarter. So 9 points total for Wilson. Now leading the way is going to be Holland. She's got 15. Ackerman's got 10. As the second group has come back in, and that'll give both Wilson, who's got 6 points, and Milton an opportunity to increase their scoring. Milton gives it up for Annie Wise, who puts in the layup in transition.
Yeah, terrific work there from Milton. Off the bench, once again making the immediate impact. Gets the steal, drives the other way, and gets the assist. And an easy bucket in transition once again. Tigers playing in transition a lot more in the second half. Despite the steals in the first, they were slowing it down a lot more and taking threes. A little bit of a different story here so far in the third quarter. So just getting underneath so easily.
Gilead's layup won't fall. Johnson and Wells will come back into their offense with enough time to go through a set if they wish.
I think they did wish, Josh, but once again, they're just turning it over all too easily. Henry in all kinds of space, going to take a long two from the baseline and gets a kind roll off the home rim.
And Henry's got 3. 3 points and 3 assists for Sam Henry.
Yeah, the only one
block
in a Trinity uniform to knock down a free throw so far.
And we're under 5 in the first buzzer since then. 3:55 left here in the third quarter. We'll take us to the media timeout. Trinity 65, Johnson and Wales 11. We'll be back in just a moment. .355 left here in the third quarter. And it'll be Johnson and Wales ball with 17 on the shot clock. Bailey looks inside, but kicks to the far corner. Gomez. Back to Bailey, who's going to drive to the lane. Now finally kicks. It's Cork. Shot won't fall. Rebound for Gilead. Milton taking control all the way, and then tries to give it up. Had Wise open, but went with the overhand pass instead of trying to go under. And all of the defense was up on top, and Johnson Wales will get the steal.
Yeah, their third steal of the game. The Tigers, though, currently with 23. And the all-time record in the game for a Trinity team is 29, which came against Center College in January of 2004.
Trinity setting most of their steals records in the 03-04 season. Of course, Jenna Smith, a huge reason why a lot of that was occurring. The team just after the championship team of 2003. It'd be games when Jenna Smith would have 11 steals by herself. And Ashley Milton going to the line. Now she has 11. She'll be looking for that 12th. Yeah, it's a 22-point run for the Tigers here in the third quarter.
You know what? They made a free throw as well. Put that to bed.
Ashley Milton, the first year, 4 of 7, 3 of 4 of downtown, and 1 for 1 from the foul line. Nice feed on the inside. And then the extra pass, maybe a little too much. And Sam Henry out running the floor. A nice little scoop up in, and she's got 5.
Yeah, nice soft touch there off the glass. Thought maybe she's going to overrun it. Able to score from underneath the basket.
Good help side defense from Milton and Wilson. But Johnson Wells is able to get. And there's going to be a foul on Gilead. So it's going to be a shooting foul, and so to the line will go the Wildcats. Coleman will come in for Wise.
I mentioned Avian Gomez. I haven't called her name much. She's 0 for 7 from the floor, 1 for 2 before that one from the free throw line. And one of the 2 wins this season for the Wildcats. She went for 32 points, and she was lethal from deep, 7 for 11. 0 for 4, though, so far today.
And Gomez 3 of 4 from the foul line, though, so that's outpacing everybody else on the floor. So Coleman fighting for a couple of shots. Eventually, rebound pushed out for Gomez. Now back for Bailey, trying to direct traffic.
Yeah, if you take away those 2 points to start the second half, you have to go well back into the early second quarter for the last time that Johnson & Wales is able to convert from the floor, as that one rims out as well. Henry allowed to just drive and went for the right-handed finish. As the soccer background comes out, but she kicks for three. Wilson with her third of the game.
So now up for 9 points.
Just even there with Bailey, had a potential open look from three, and she's the leading scorer of this team, and the one they look to in games in which they're successful on offense, but she's not pulling from there. You know the confidence is just extremely low for this Wildcats team.
And so Gomez back to the line, and the strongest part of the Wildcats game today has been Gomez at the line. 4 of 5. And 5 of 6 for all 5 of her points today.
How about this stat as well? 45 points off turnovers for Trinity, just 1 point off turnovers for Johnson and Wales. Tells you a lot of the story with the amount of steals that Trinity is able to create, especially when they're pressing in the first half, turning it into points and turning it into a lead that you need to write out on paper to try and figure out. If there's another three, goes in.
Abby Wilson will have 12. That's 5 Tigers in double figures now.
Single digits left on the clock here, approaching the end of the third quarter. And looks like the buzzer's going to sound. Not quite. 0.9 seconds left as the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch off Trinity.
So catch and shoot opportunity for the Wildcats. And wouldn't have counted, I don't believe, even if she had been able to make it. And that will take us to the end of the third. 76-15, the Tigers on top of the Wildcats. We'll be back for the fourth quarter in just a moment. Get a better rate. 76-15, start of the fourth quarter. Johnson and Wells will have first possession. Let's see if the trend continues of them scoring first. The shot goes up off the front of the rim, and this one's going to be rebounded by the Tigers. And so for the time being, the answer is no. Ackerman left open, corner three. She knocks it down. Julia Ackerman. She's got 13.
You know, that's the first time the Tigers have scored first in a quarter. If you learn that stat, independent of learning the score, you might be a little bit confused.
Inside, that's going to be a foul on Holland, and Cork's going to go to the line to shoot two. Cork an opportunity to get onto the scoreboard here. 0-4 from the field. She missed her first 2 free throw attempts. Still looking for the crooked number. And there it is.
Tiger ladies going to cap off a terrific doubleheader for Tiger basketball as the men's took a victory over these Johnson & Wales Wildcats 80-64 earlier today. It's a little bit more lopsided here on the women's side. We have a timeout as Trinity leads 81-16. You're watching the Tiger Network. 9 minutes and change to go.
It's going to be Bailey bringing it across for the Wildcats.
If you're still looking to keep track of those team records, Tigers are 6 steals away from breaking that particular mark, and 7 assists away from breaking their most assists in a game mark. And that's just about the night there for Johnson & Wales, as that one hangs up on the rim for an eternity before it falls off.
Inside, Holland. Turn around and knock down the jumper. She's got 17.
She leads all scorers, and some would wonder maybe why the starting five still out there with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but it's pretty much in character for Coach Hill, isn't it?
Yeah, throughout the season, the starters have played till roughly the media timeout in every quarter, and the subs have come in and played out the rest of the quarter. And then you get to the fourth quarter, and if the starters needed to go the whole 10 minutes of the fourth, and that's typically what's been happening. So I would expect to see within the next 2 minutes as we get close to that media timeout. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we hit right at 4:59 if Coach Hill doesn't just call the timeout and make it happen.
Not the first time we've seen that connection there. Ackerman to Simmons underneath. Another terrific find from Ackerman.
Right. But I think it's also just about minutes. I mean, because right now these starters are playing on just about 17 minutes, which is less than half the game. And so we want to keep them right where they feel like they're still in rhythm throughout the rest of the season. So that one tipped around, and Rudd will pull it down. Feed over to Holland, who knocks down the jumper. She's got 19.
Good feed that time from Jordan Rudd, driving at the baseline and finding the open senior forward. Now up to 19 points, like you said. That was assist number 30 for Trinity, who have passed the ball extremely well in this game. That would put them in second place in the all-time team record. Now 3 behind a game against Rose Holman from February 23rd, 2003. Of course, the national championship season. Put the banner up in Calgary Gymnasium. As there's a field goal for Johnson & Wales. Bailey now into double digits. Daniel Knott had her most prolific scoring night, like you mentioned, I think in the second quarter. Now she's 2 for 9 from the floor. As you can probably gather, Tigers haven't missed her offense too much. Maybe she'll save it for the Tigers of Colorado College tomorrow.
Yeah, the three-pointer will fall for Gomez. Johnson Wales into the 20s. Inside for Simmons, turn around on the foul. She'll go to the line.
Simmons, the beneficiary, I think, of some tired legs for Johnson Wales, but also some terrific passing from Trinity. As the subs are going to come out to a round of applause from the home fans underneath us. Just Simmons stays out there to shoot these 2 free throws. Free throw is really the area that Trinity can improve, as there's another miss. Now 2 for 7 as a team. Kind bounce there off the front rim, and Simmons will exit as Wilson comes back in. She's got 12 points. She and Milton with double digits as a part of the Tiger bench. It's been a lively fourth quarter here from the Johnson & Wales Wildcats offensively. There's another 3-pointer for Gomez. Mentioned she had a big game against Dallas. She really heated up from behind the arc, and so far in the fourth quarter, she's been replicating that. Now 2 for 2 in this final period of play.
Back during Trinity's championship season, they played a game against Shriner back on January 21st of 2003 here in, well, back then it was Sam's Gymnasium. They held Shriner to just 26 points, and so we are right on the cusp of that with Johnson & Wales. That was the last time that a Trinity team held somebody under 30.
I could see under 30. I think with the way Johnson & Wales has come out shooting in this fourth quarter, though, 26 looks a little bit unlikely. Another offensive rebound, though, for Trinity, who are controlling the glass at the moment. And a 3-pointer for Sam Henry. 8 points now for the Tigers' backup point guard.
8 points and 4 assists. That's a pretty solid night for Henry. They'll stay with the Wildcats. Of course, the game against Shriner back in 03 was a non-conference game. That'll be a conference game now.
It'll take some more digging to find the lowest points allowed in a conference game. So continue to scour the archives here with under 5 minutes to go. And what has largely been a non-contest. I want to make sure everybody gets out of this one safely. It was Cork diving to try and intercept the long pass, and Henry tumbled to the ground, but she gets up just fine. The Tigers will inbound it from just in front of Coach Cameron Hill.
Milton for 3 off the back iron. Rebound for Wise.
The second unit, I think, benefiting from Johnson & Wales' lack of depth. And, you know, a lot of these players play 30-plus minutes a game, and just gets tough to box out and grab those contested rebounds as you approach that number of minutes. Trinity more offensive rebounds in this quarter than any other. Here's another steal. It's going to be number 27, and it leads to 2 more points off the turnover. That's 49 now.
Well, Trinity scored 110 against Centenary the last time they were here at home, and that tied the all-time scoring record for the team.
It's another one that could potentially stand to fall, as now Johnson & Wales equals that 26 mark we talked about.
Gomez has 13.
So that record won't be broken, maybe matched. We'll see.
They scored 30 here last year against the Tigers.
Trinity shooting 45% from 3, 55% on field goals in general, as Milton is able to finish at the bucket there. On the season, 44.3% from the floor, 30.7% from 3, so shooting considerably better tonight, finding a lot of open looks from behind the arc. A number of different shooters have had it tonight. As that one rims out from Gilliott. hustle play that time from Wise to keep it alive. She gets fouled, and possession will stay with Trinity. 20 on the shot clock, 2 minutes 31 seconds left on the game clock. Bailey departs probably for the last time here for the Wildcats. She was 5 for 13 and ended up not leading the team actually after Gomez knocked down those 2 threes. She had 10 points. And Henry's fouled. She's looking to get into double digits as well if she can make both of these free throws. Easier said than done though tonight.
And Sam Henry will be going to the line looking to get into double figures herself.
Again, just not happening from the free throw line tonight for Trinity.
3 for 9 as a team.
Henry actually one of those that can hold her head up. She's 2 for 4.
The team's 4 of 10, so she's got half of the makes.
Substitute Paul there, driving and just throwing up at the glass. It was challenged by Simmons. Milton takes the open look, gets her own rebound, and we're going to see if they call a charge on her. They do. I've been waiting, though. I've heard about Milton. I've seen some of the numbers she's been putting up in her first season as a part of this Trinity program. Waiting to see her in person, and I've been really impressed tonight with the energy that she brings off the bench in the first quarter, knocking down 2 threes almost immediately after coming in. In the third quarter, grabbed a steal and drove the other way for 2 points. I think she's going to be an incredibly important asset in some of the big games still to come this season for Coach Hill. Terrific find recruiting-wise from the former Trinity men's basketball standout, Coach Cameron Hill.
Yeah, Joe Shotland was actually out recruiting Sam Henry up in Amarillo, and Henry and Milton both from Amarillo, and saw Henry and liked Henry as a point guard, and then saw Milton and was just like just too good, and ultimately chose Trinity. And when he first saw her, he was like, that's basically Abby Holland 2.0. And I think that we've seen a little bit more outside range from Milton than initially we did from Holland.
Assist for her there.
She shoots the ball from downtown quite a bit more than what Holland does now, particularly, but maybe even so as a first year.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly averaged, I think, 3 or 4 more three-point attempts per game than Holland has at any point throughout her career. But in terms of the size and the versatility, I certainly see what they're looking at on that Trinity coaching staff. And Holland, one of 2 seniors that they're going to have to look to replace after this year. They may already have that ready-made replacement in Ashlyn Milton. Under a minute to play here. Tigers lead 101-26, currently tied for their all-time best defensive performance, holding an opponent to 26 points. Still 30 seconds for Johnson & Wales to try and get their name off of that record sheet. It's going to be an open look for 3. Short that time, and rebound corralled by Wilson, who has 17 points. She's just behind Abby Holland, who leads all scorers with 19. And Trinity going to dribble this one out.
It's going to be back-to-back home games, over 100 for the Tigers. And they'll take this one 103-26. And the number 16 ranked Tigers improve to 12-2. Johnson & Wales will fall to 2-11. They are back in action again tomorrow at Shriner up in Kerrville, 6 o'clock start. Meanwhile, the Tigers will be right back here on Tiger Network, take on Colorado College, who's currently over in Kerrville. And they have a 40-35 lead midway through the third quarter. So we'll get you caught up on how all that action finished later tonight when we see you tomorrow for Trinity and Colorado College. But for here, Abby Wilson finished with 17 points. Abby Holland with 19, Ashlyn Milton with 16, Julia Ackerman 13, and Kelly Simmons with 11 13 points for Gomez and 10 for Bailey for the Wildcats. And Ryan, your thoughts on Trinity tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. A historic performance, especially on the defensive side of the ball for Coach Cameron Hill's team, nearly breaking that steals record. This will be their second most ever in a game with 27, and held Johnson Wales to 26 points, which is the joint least that a Trinity team has ever allowed. So we saw them getting it done at both ends of the floor. Ended up shooting 44% from behind the arc, and that came from a number of different hot hands. Particularly impressed once again with Ashlyn Milton, 16 points and 8 boards off the bench. Of course, Abby Holland, always spectacular, led the way with 19. And excited to see what transpires tomorrow night, 6 o'clock tip-off on the Tiger Network as the Tigers of Colorado College come to town to face the nationally ranked number 16 Trinity Tigers here in Calgar Gymnasium. For Ryan Figert and Josh Moxagimba, all of our student crew making it possible here on the Tiger Network, we thank you for joining us. And if you're still with us, thank you for sticking around for the entirety of tonight's game. Your final 103-26 to Trinity.